This is 5 Minutes of Fire, and the fire is God. Today our parable will be taken from the Gospel according to St. Luke, the 18th chapter and the 9th verse. And he spake this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves, that they were righteous, and despised others. 2 men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee and the other a publican. The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself: God, I thank thee that I am not as other men are, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. I fast twice in the week. I give tithes of all that I possess. And the publican, standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes unto heaven, but smote upon his breast, saying, God, be merciful to me, a sinner. I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalteth himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. And the Lord spake this parable before the multitudes, and there were so many people there to hear him, but he was setting straight the path of the new covenant. The Pharisees had been sitting in Moses' seat, and they were the greatest expositors of the law. They were very astute, and they also expanded the oral tradition of the law, which made it very difficult for people to fulfill. They made it very difficult, and the things that they brought in the oral tradition, as the scribes and the Pharisees, actually caused people to struggle and made it grievous, and the Lord was not pleased with them. Most of all, they did not do what they preached or taught. They were great hypocrites, and they put all of the emphasis on how they looked and what they said, and trying to be justified in the eyes of the people. The Lord had very harsh things to say about them. This day, the Lord gave the example of the Pharisee praying and the publican praying. And of course, we see the Pharisee was justifying himself and talking about the things that he had done, which was their way. But the publican, he was more honest. He knew he was the devil, because they collected taxes, and being Jewish themselves, they were not given a salary, but they had to increase the taxes in order to get a salary off the top, and it was always too much. So they were very hated. The Pharisees considered the publicans sinners. They did not eat or drink with them. So this parable is designed for some who trusted in themselves that they were righteous and despised others. People that come in with a conceited attitude, with a holier-than-thou attitude, and the Lord is checking them, and he's saying, what is your disposition when you come before God? Do you come to get the approval of others, or do you feel you need no help, but you come to remind God of the good that you have done? And do you feel you are above others? He's giving them something to think about here. And he said in the end, because he is the justifier, and he can do whatever he pleases, and people have to understand that he is Lord and his word is sovereign. He says, I tell you, this man went down to his house justified rather than the other. For everyone that exalted himself shall be abased. The Lord is saying, because of this man's attitude and his humility, I am going to forgive him, and I'm going to bless him. And because of the other ones, inability to be merciful and kind, I am going to reject him. And he says, everyone that exalts himself, puts himself up on a high plane, is going to be brought down. And he that comes low shall be brought up. This is our God, and this is his kingdom, and he is letting us know that he is in charge. Jesus contrasts different reactions to the kingdom of God to show that humility is an essential ingredient of faith. If you are going to believe him, the penitent heart is always best, because everything is open and naked before the Lord. He knows who you are and what you have done, and he knows what you are lacking. But the most important thing is the attitude. When you are approaching God, you are never putting down others and putting yourself on top. It is never a competition. When you come to God, you come into him on an individual basis, and the Lord is looking at your attitude and disposition. God bless you, and we love you in Jesus' name.